The Apoi Ijaw story, from the Niger Delta to Ondo State, a lost language and a new identity. The story of the Apoi Ijaw people. Long before modern Nigeria existed, long before Ondo State became a busy coastal region, there was a people whose journey crossed rivers, forests, and generations. These people are known today as the Apoi Ijaw. The Apoi are a unique subgroup of the larger Ijaw people, one of the oldest ethnic groups in the Niger Delta. Today, many Apoi people live in Ondo State, especially in Ese-Odo Local Government Area. But their story did not begin there. Their story began deep in the creeks and waterways of the Niger Delta. This is the story of migration, survival, culture, and identity. The ancient homeland. Hundreds of years ago, the ancestors of the Apoi lived in what is now Bayelsa State. Their homeland was around the creeks of Southern Ijaw. The place was full of rivers, mangrove forests, and fishing settlements. The people lived on water. They were fishermen, canoe builders, and traders. They spoke the Ijaw language, worshipped traditional gods, and lived in close family communities. Life in the Delta was not always peaceful. Communities often moved for many reasons: flooding of villages, search for better fishing waters, trade opportunities, conflicts with neighboring groups, population growth. Because of these reasons, some groups began to move westward. Among them were the ancestors of the Apoi, the Great Migration. Many generations ago, the Apoi ancestors left their homeland in the Delta. Their journey took them across creeks and forests toward the western coast. This movement was slow. They did not travel all at once. Instead, families moved gradually. Some settled temporarily along the way. One important stopping place was Ukomu, near the territory of the Apoi Ijaw. Here they stayed for some time. They fished, they farmed small lands, they rebuilt their community. But the migration did not end there. After many years, the Apoi people continued their journey further west. Eventually, they reached the coastal areas that are today part of Ondo State. Here, they found rivers, forests, and fertile land. It was a place where they could settle permanently. The birth of Apoi land. When the Apoi arrived in the region that is now Ese-Odo, they began to establish new settlements. Over time, 9 main communities developed. These became the heart of Apoi land. And the settlements include Igbo Bini Ojuala Ipoke Inikoroga Oboro Sabomi Igbotu Kiribo Igbekebo. Among these towns, Igbo Bini, Kiribo, and Igbekebo became especially important. Each community developed its own leadership and traditions, but they all remained part of one larger clan, the Apoi, meeting the Yoruba neighbors. When the Apoi settled in present-day Ondo State, they were not alone. Nearby were other ethnic groups such as the Ikale people, the Ilaje people. These groups belonged to the Yoruba people. At first, the communities were different. They spoke different languages and had different customs. But over many generations, something interesting happened. The Apoi began to mix closely with their neighbors. They traded together, they married into each other's families, they shared festivals and markets. Slowly, culture began to blend, not the language change. One of the biggest changes happened in language. Originally, the Apoi spoke the Ijaw language like their ancestors in the Niger Delta. But over time, the language began to disappear. Because they lived among Yoruba-speaking neighbors, the Apoi gradually adopted a Yoruba dialect. Today, many Apoi people speak a dialect closely related to the Ikale dialect of Yoruba. This is why many outsiders do not realize that the Apoi are originally Ijaw. Their language now sounds Yoruba, but their history tells a deeper story, a unique identity. Even though the Apoi adopted many Yoruba customs, they still keep some traditions from their Ijaw roots. Their culture today is a mixture of both worlds. For example, they use Yoruba-style royal titles like Oba, but their paramount ruler has a unique title called Kalasue of Apoi land. This shows both Yoruba influence and Apoi identity. Some communities also have traditional titles such as Olu of Igbobini Odogun of Igbekebo. These leaders help maintain peace, culture, and tradition. Food and daily life. Life in Apoi land is strongly connected to the land and rivers. The people farm, fish, and trade. Some popular traditional foods include marugbo, karage, pupuru, paun. These meals reflect both riverine and forest cultures. Fishing remains an important part of daily life. Palm trees, cassava farms, and small rivers surround many villages. Religion and spiritual beliefs. Before Christianity arrived, the Apoi people practiced traditional religion. They believed in powerful spiritual forces connected to nature. And two important deities were Oboroe. This deity had a shrine in Igbobini and was believed to protect the land and the people. Another sacred figure was Boabo. Boabo was associated with a sacred tree located in Igbekebo. People believed this tree held spiritual power. Festivals and rituals were held to honor these spirits. One major cultural celebration is the Oro Festival, which is still respected in many communities. The coming of Christianity. In the late 1800s, Christian missionaries arrived in the region. One of the earliest missions was started by the Methodist Church Nigeria. Missionaries built schools and churches. Many Apoi people gradually converted to Christianity. Today, Christianity is widely practiced across Apoi land. However, traditional beliefs and cultural festivals are still respected. All the Apoi and their neighbors. The Apoi share borders with another important Ijaw group called the Apoi Ijaw. Unlike the Apoi, the Apoi people have largely kept their Ijaw language. Because of this, historians sometimes compare the two groups. The Apoi remained linguistically Ijaw, but the Apoi became linguistically Yoruba. Yet both groups share deep historical roots in the Niger Delta. Western Apoi and Eastern Apoi. There is another interesting part of this story. The Apoi people are divided into two groups. The Western Apoi live in Ondo State, but another group called the Eastern Apoi still lives in Bayelsa State. Both groups share the same ancestry, but their cultures developed differently over time. The Eastern Apoi kept more of their original language. The Western Apoi blended with Yoruba culture. Modern Apoi society today, or the Apoi people continue to grow and develop. Many work in fishing, farming, education, business, politics. Some have become famous across Nigeria. One well-known figure from Kiribo is Omoyele Sowore, a journalist, activist, and politician. The traditional ruler of Apoi land today is Oba Sunday Adejimola Amusagan, who holds the title Kalasue of Apoi land. He plays an important role in preserving Apoi culture and unity, the identity of the Apoi today. The story of the Apoi people teaches an important lesson. Culture is not always fixed. Sometimes history takes people on long journeys. The Apoi started as Ijaw people from the Niger Delta. But after centuries of migration and interaction, they became a unique community. Today they are Ijaw by ancestry, Yoruba by language, and proudly Apoi by identity. As their story is a powerful reminder that African history is full of movement, connection, and transformation. Final words. From the creeks of Bayelsa to the forests and rivers of Ondo State, the journey of the Apoi people continues. Their villages still stand, their traditions still live, and their story remains one of the most fascinating cultural journeys in Nigeria. It is always great to have you watch and support our channel as you have always done in the past. Your continued presence here is deeply appreciated. Please like, comment and share this documentary with 1 or 2 persons so they too can learn. Also, it will be of great encouragement to us if you subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button for this and other documentaries. See you in our next episode. Thank you very much. Bye.